Yeah, today our topic for discussion is going to be we thought of discussing about RBAC, which means that role-based access control, and DAC, discretionary access control. Yeah, before moving to discuss these topics, we need to understand these are the security features and I mean to say access control based on the objects. Before dwelling into this, we need to understand what are the features that Snowflake provides, that the security level, what are the features that Snowflake provide, different ways of security before logging into the Snowflake, how we are going to log in, and what are the different methods that we can log in into Snowflake, and what are the security features that the Snowflake provides. So this is going to be a DBA concept. So usually this we will discuss more in detail during the DBA batch, but everyone need to have idea in terms of, if you are going to give the Snow Pro, then everyone need to understand these concepts. What do you mean by RBAC and DAC? We need to understand what are the security aspects when you are going to log in into Snowflake, how Snowflake evaluate the user. Okay, so it had weightage of around these concepts. I mean to say, let me share my screen. Okay, this is the section account access and security. For the account access and security, we have 20% of weightage. We have we have very less topics, and we will get around 3 to 4 questions in terms of security, account access and security. Okay, these are the topics that we will try to cover on this section. This is going to be a DBA. We will cover from the DBA point of view. Most of the people who are working in DBA, they will have a extensive knowledge, but developer point of view, we need to understand the concept on a high level. Okay, today we will discuss the network security and policies, multi-factor authentication, and single sign-on. How we are going to achieve the single sign-on using the federated authentication. This is all the three topics are going to be in terms of theoretical concepts. Okay, now let us discuss about the security, network security and policies. Okay, before we discuss about the rollback access control, these topics, let's cover these topics from the Snowflake point of view. Okay, so we have the first topic known as a network security and policies. So what happens is, whenever you log in into Snowflake, every usually we log in either from the desktop using the web UI, and it's going to be URL, right? So for every system, we are going to have a one IP address. Suppose if any DBA notices that, if any DBA notices that sometime what happens, we are going to have a unidentified user is going to get logged in into a system. So we want to block him. So by which mechanism we will block him is using his IP address. We will DBA identifies his IP address from their tools, and they will try to block the particular IP address. Okay. Suppose there is a requirement that you have a strict procedures and strict requirements. DBA receives based on certain evaluation. DBA receives that only these IP address need to be logged in into your system. Then how can you do that? How can you achieve that? Means using the network policy. We have a concept known as a network policy. In the network policy, we are going to define the IP address which need to be logged in, which need to be rejected. If the DBS identifies certain IP address that need to be rejected, they are going to identify those IP addresses and provide the network policy saying that whenever you notice a user logging in this from this particular IP address, just simply reject it. Just don't try to log in this particular any kind of user who is logging in, even though he is a authenticated user. If he tries to log in from the blocked IP, then he will not logged in into our Snowflake system. Let us see how that will happen. Actually, we have the network policies. Why you are going to use the network policies means, in order to allow and restrict to account based on user IP address. If you are going to allow and restrict the users based on the IP address, then you are going to define the network policies. We have the network policies to allow IP address. We have two parameters that takes place in the network policy. One is going to be a allow IP address, and another is going to be a block IP address. All the IP address which are provided in the IP allow IP address will be logged in. If the IP address is not provided in allow IP address, simply it will be you cannot log in from the IP address. If the IP address is provided in the block IP address, you will not be able to you will not be able to log in. Okay, so if you are going to use the network policy, then IP address must definitely present in the allow IP address. Then only you can log in into system. Else it will be, you will not be able to log in into your Snowflake account. Okay, so this is how we have that. This is the syntax. So in order to create the network policy, you need to have the security admin role. We will discuss different types of roles. We have the security admin who will take care of all the security aspects. You need to have the security admin role. Along with the security admin role, you need to have the privilege. Privilege in the sense the access to create the network policy. This is how then only you can create the network policy. The creating network policy is very simple syntax. You are going to create network policy is the term you are going to provide, and you are going to give the network policy name, allow IP address list. Here you are going to provide all the IP address list. What are the IP address that you are going to use it to log in? If you are not, only here you are not blocking anything, but you are providing, in case of this example, here we are defining only the allow IP address. If the IP address is present in this network policy, then only you are able to log in into your Snowflake account, else it will get rejected. Okay, then let's see block IP address. In this case, we are going to provide the block IP address and allowed IP address. If you notice, in this case, here you have the allow IP address and block IP address. If you are going to provide the same IP address in allowed and block IP address list, then what happens is Snowflake always considers and gives priority for the block IP address only. So in case by mistake, or if you are intentionally, if you provide the same IP address in both the allowed and blocked list, Snowflake considers first evaluates the block IP address. Snowflake sees that whenever the user is trying to log in from certain IP, Snowflake looks into that IP and identifies whether if it is present in the blocked IP address or not. If it is present in the blocked IP address, simply user will not be able to log in. Then it will evaluate the allow IP address. Okay. Then it will not, if the IP address is present in this particular allowed IP list, then only he will be able to log in successfully after providing his credentials. Okay. Then once the network policy, if you see in case of streams, once you need to resume the stream, right? Similarly, we need to alter, once you create the network policy, automatically this will not comes into account. Okay, exclusively we need to alter the network policy using the command alter account. It is the account level of parameter, right? We need to change alter account. We are going to set the network policy, whatever the network policy that we have created. Such wise we are going to create the network policy, and we are going to define the allow. We're going to identify all the IP address, and we are going to set it, and we are going to set the network policy. If you want to unset the network policy, simply you are going to alter the command, alter the account level by using the unset the network policy. This is one way that how the network policies are defined. Network policies are defined to identify the blocked IP. In order to identify the IP, we will identify the IP address, and based on the IP address, either we will allow them to log into Snowflake, or else we will reject it. This is one type of security that the Snowflake provides. Okay, there is a second way of security that the Snowflake provides, which is known as a multi-factor authentication. For every user, I guess everyone had created your Snowflake accounts. For every user, once you log in into Snowflake, there will be an option for enrolling into multi-factor authentication. Okay, on the bottom, if you see here, you will be have your profile name. Just click on here and go to my profile. Hope everyone has created the Snowflake account. Just they can replicate the same. If you go to the profile account, just scroll down. Here there is an option for multi-factor authentication. If you want to enroll into multi-factor authentication, you can just simply click on enroll. So actually, if you click on multi-factor authentication, let me click again. So if you click on multi-factor authentication enroll button, just click on multi-enroll. If you see here, if you notice, Cisco Duo is the app that you need to be present. It will be used to provide the multi-factor authentication. So open your mobile, and we need to log in. We need to have the Cisco DO app in our mobile. Okay, let us start setup. Just click on start setup. If you can say what are the types you are adding this, just click on mobile phone. We need to provide our mobile number and as well as a country code. So just I am providing my mobile number and clicking on continue. So it will ask for whether it is a Windows phone or Android phone. iPhone, just select the whatever the phone you have, whatever the software that you are using. That I am using the Android. Just I am clicking on continue. So for this, we require the DO mobile app need to be installed in our system. If it was not installed, just go to Play Store and install this app. Okay. So give me a minute. Actually, I don't have this app. Just I'm trying to install that. Yeah. Once after completing installation, just click on I have a DO mobile install. If you see here, you need to activate the multi-factor authentication, right? So whenever just once you open the app, you have the different ways, right? Just click on in the app. We have the options to create the setup account, or you can click on the I have an existing account. Just select the setup account, and use the you have an option in mobile to use a QR code. Just select that option, use a QR code, and just scan this the QR code which was showing on your screen now. Just click on continue. So it will ask you for the settings. Here I have just added, right, my Android mobile, and it was my phone number. Just get added. Default device. This is the default device. It will ask you to choose whether to send a push notification or call to you, or else you can use the code that was displayed on the multi-factor authentication. Just don't select this. Continue. Just click on continue to login. Okay. It will ask you the three options, either to send me a push notification. You can accept the push notification on your app, or either you can click on a call me. It will call to your mobile. Just you will accept the call, and it will give you a certain code, and you need to enter the same code over here. Else you can enter a passcode. Just I'm clicking on a enter passcode. So actually my app will be continuously generating the passcode, right? So I will provide the app code which was provided in my app. Just I'm giving the app code which was displaying on my app. It was similar, moreover, like a OTP. So it got successfully logged in. So my multi-factor, I have successfully enrolled into multi-factor authentication and successfully logged in. So let us see after I created the multi-factor authentication, how it behaves. Let me log out from this and try to log. So whenever you try to log in, we have enrolled for the multi-factor authentication. It will take the second step. Though username and password got identified correctly, it will ask to provide the passcode, either call me or send notification. Just I'm selecting enter the passcode. Just click on login. So now we have successfully logged in into Snowflake. So Multi-factor authentication provides you two steps of identification. One will be identified based on using your password, and the second step will be the passcode or a push notification, or you can use the call me option to identify yourself to log in into Snowflake. This is the two ways that we log in. This is the other two ways that we logged in into Snowflake. There is a third option which is known as a SSO. Hope everyone might be aware, right? While working in the Gmail, SSO. SSO is nothing but a single sign-on. Okay. If you logged in into any of the applications that your organization had clubbed together, then there is no need to again log in into different using the same as you have the similar passwords for all the apps. If you log in once into any app, there is no need to log in into any different apps. Okay, let me show you as an example. So if you logged in into Gmail, right? Most of the people will be have the Gmail account and they are going to log in into Gmail. So if you logged in into Gmail, you have the if you click on these buttons, you have the different options either to log in into. If you click on anything, there is no need to log in separately into any of these apps which was clubbed together. You can log in into Calendar, Drive. If you log in into Drive, there is no need to create again. We are not going to provide any kind of login ID or password. Okay, so this is how the SSO works in your organization. What happens is you might be working in an environment where along with the Snowflake, we have the different options either to log in into ADLS container or AWS S3 bucket. These all you have the single sign-on mechanism. This is going to be you cannot replicate the same scenario in terms of real time here. So just try to understand the in terms of Gmail perspective. So if you logged in into Gmail, there is no separately we are not going to log in into contacts, Drive, Calendar. Automatically you are going to access all these apps. Similarly, once you logged in into any of your your I mean to say your office accounts using the Microsoft, usually you log in into based on user email ID and password. You'll use the single email ID and password for all your applications. Once you log in into your user ID and your email, then automatically all this will be configured for the all different applications, including the Snowflake, Oracle, or whatever the applications that you are using. This is all another way of using this is the another way of using the single sign on. Once you log in into any application, there is no requirement to log in into different applications. Based on the single sign on, automatically you can log in into Snowflake account. This is the third type. Using this can be created using the which is known as a federated environment single sign on. Okay, these are the three different ways that we log in into Snowflake, and three different mechanisms that the Snowflake provide security to log in into Snowflake account. Okay, any doubts regarding this network security and policies, multi-factor authentication and federated and authentication and single sign-on so far here? Do not worry much. This is a admin concepts. Database admins will take care how they are going to create the multi-factor authentication. They are going network. We never define the network security policies. Only DBA will evaluate the threat levels, and they are going to monitor the login effect into Snowflake. And if they feel that there are certain IPs that need to be blocked and they are using for their personal use, this Snowflake account was handling for their personal use and something is happening, then only they are going to block this IP address. All these activities will be taken care from the entire security policies will be taken care from DBA only, database admin team only. Where so initially while then once we log in into our Snowflake, once they provide an access, multi-factor authentication need to be enrolled from the user end. So follow the similar process. Usually multi-factor authentication is compulsory for the roles who have the account admin. account admin, security admin, user admins, all the admin level roles will have the, definitely they need to enroll. We have a policy set that usually there will be a policy set that all the admins need to have the multi-factor authentication, definitely. Okay, but from the developer point of view, if you are using the dev environment, not into a prod environment, if you don't have access to the prod environment, and if you're working in a dev environment, usually will not be configured further, will not ask for the multi-factor authentication. If there is a requirement for you to support any of the production support features, or if you want to evaluate the production, I mean to say production data during the change request, once you are involved in the deployment activities, any code changes, if you are going to evaluate the data in the production as well, then you will be definitely asked to enroll into the multi-factor authentication, and we will have a very low level access, just to, you don't have any update access into production, just you can read the data and you can evaluate it. Okay, this is how only the prod access, if you are going to require the prod access, if you request for the production access, and then they will ask to create the multi-factor authentication. Usually we will never, usually only the admin activities will take care to log in into multi-factor, using multi-factor authentication. Okay, this is a single sign-on. Once you log in into your Microsoft account, automatically the Microsoft account will be used to log in into all the apps across your organization. Okay, single sign-on means once you log in into any app, then it will not ask to log in into different applications. Automatically in the backend, it will consider the ID and password from the app that you logged in, and you will able to log in into different apps that your organization is using. Okay, this is how single sign-on works. These are the network policies. And the one important question that will come into that, if you are giving the Snowpro examination, one question that you need to remember is, if you provide the same, if you are going to, which has the priority, either allow block address parameter have the priority, or the block IP address have the priority. If which has the priority means, always block IP address parameter have the highest priority. Once Snowflake initially identifies these are all the IP address. If the Snowflake feels that your IP address is not present in this blocked IP address, then only it will evaluate the allowed IP address, and you are able to successfully log in